Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends X-Men Build-A-Figure Chode Wave MONET Street CROIX. I couldn't help myself. I know it's pronounced Monet Saint Croix. It's not pronounced that way either. It's Monet Saint Croix. Anyway, this is a character. I don't know if everybody likes this character or nobody likes this character. I don't know that much about the character. I knew she existed, and I was like, okay, I'll take another figure. And honestly, this is one of the better figures they've made lately. I don't know what Hasbro's doing. There's one thing particular about this figure that is infinitely better, almost nearly infinitely. If I could measure infinity, I would tell you, but it's almost infinitely better than everything they've made lately. One particular aspect on this figure. It's nuts to me how Hasbro is so weird. They vacillate between being a horrible, horrible company who can do a better job and a company who's still really horrible but sometimes kind of squeaks by with a decent job. It's strange. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this figure off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, first things first, here she is up against Darwin. He is just about the same height as her, which I think is probably good. She stands roughly 16 centimeters, give or take a little bit. And that's going to be about 6¼ inches. And so let's just get right into it. The first thing that I noticed about this figure is the face is done really well, like really, really well. It's accurate to the source material. It doesn't have some kind of crazy uncanny valley weirdness going on. It looks like a comic character made 3D. It's pretty. The paint job is good. The eyes are slightly off, I guess, maybe. Can't tell if that's just like shadows or whatever, but it's really, really, really well done. The hair doesn't look ridiculous. The hair is sculpted very well. It sits on the figure nicely on the front and on the back. Like, it's so much better looking than every other female they've released in recent history. It looks so good. Like, it's amazing what the source material will do for you. Speaking of which, you might notice a certain 3D feature on this figure that actually matches the source material. It's the gauntlet. No, it's her boobages. Her boobages actually look like boobages. And that's not me being a pervert. It's just saying if you make things look like the source material, they look better than whatever frumpy dumbass cosplay version you want to make into an action figure. This looks like the character. The face looks good. The body looks good. It looks like a comic character in plastic form. That's all people want. That's the whole purpose of collecting action figures from the comics. Why not just do that? Because this looks good. They added the gauntlets on. There's plenty of new parts. I think the core legs are basically, or they are reused parts. Maybe even the arms. But there are new things like the shoulder pads, the boobages, the belt, the gauntlets. Like, there's lots of good stuff going on here. The little collar she has. Like, it's a really solid release. It's nothing extravagant, nothing crazy, but it doesn't need to be. They just need to match the source material. Could it use a little bit more paint here and there? Absolutely. The solid gold Zipper X logo looks a little cheap. Same thing with the gauntlets not having any line work or anything, but it does look nice. What's there is done well, and it matches the source material. That's all it takes. This figure still has very little paint. We have the X logos, a little bit of detail work here and there, and that's it. Like, it's not an expensive figure to make. But it doesn't take much. This is why I keep saying Hasbro Marvel Legends could be so much better. And it doesn't take much. Not at all. This figure looks so much better. It matches the comics, and what is on there is done well. That's all it needs. So much better looking than like most, at least the females, and even most of the male figures that don't match the comics. So for this one, I'm going to give an aesthetic rating of 8 out of 10. We could still definitely get some line work and things like that, a little bit of a more detailed paint job, but it's plenty. It's fine. Now, as far as accessories go, she doesn't really have any abilities that you could show in an accessory effectively. So the 2 fist hands and then the 2 open hands, I think that's fine. There's probably nothing else you really need. I think we could start to see, like, if Hasbro wanted to give a shit, they could give us alternate portraits. Like a neutral head like this, and then maybe like an angry one or a yelling one or something like that to pose the figures doing stuff. Since they are comic book characters, they tend to not just stand around doing nothing. And since giving them only a screaming head is not a good idea, I think alternate heads is really where Hasbro needs to go. That would be better than probably any other new addition of accessories, but as we know, they're starting to cut away even more. So anyway, accessory-wise, it's reasonable, but still 5 out of 10. There's nothing really going on here. Okay, now as far as articulation goes, the head's not going to go back very far because there's a lot of hair, obviously, so we can't fault it for that. We do have the standard hinge and ball peg, so it does look down. It is technically a lollipop situation, but you're not going to really be able to tell. And rotating is a bit of an issue. It's going to be pretty limited. It's probably going to be good enough, but like if you wanted dynamic posing, the hair needs to be a much softer material. And that exists. You can get PVC that's very, very soft. They just don't do it. Like this is very stiff. Anyway, it's fine, but it could be better. Shoulder pads, they did what I like. There's a little loop that goes around so it can rotate with the arm. It's not connected to the arm, it's not connected to the body, it just loops around. Downside for that is you have to have a little bit more of a gap in the shoulder to get that to work, but it's functional. It is good. I like that. If I could have, I would have done that for my action figure line that I'm working on, but you need too much of a gap, and since every figure is not going to have a shoulder pad, you don't want that gap just stuck in there for the reused parts, so that's unfortunate. But anyway, this is really nicely done for this character, exactly the way they should have done it. Bicep swivel is fine, pinless joints, so if you like those, you win today. Elbow works nicely, no problem there. These are a separate piece. I can't really get mine to rotate, so I don't know if they're glued on or if mine are just stuck. But the gauntlets and the boot, whatever you call them, they are a separate PVC that's just like slid on. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge, that's standard. Diaphragm joint leans back nicely, leans forward nicely, side to side, pretty good, full rotation. That's nice. The only thing she really needs is another joint down here, another ball peg, and then you get all the range you want. No weird cuts, no ab crunches, just a couple of ball pegs and you're set, but still this one is okay. Belt is floaty. I wish it was a little bit better situated on her, but I guess that's okay. Hips going forward, she kicks high. I like that, that's nice. They go back just a touch, not too much though. Going out to the side, let's see. Yeah, they put that pivot in the wrong spot. You can tell how it gets like weird looking. Like if it, see how there's no gap up here when the legs are down? And then when you go like this, they tilt in and you end up with a gap up here. That's because they put the pivot in the wrong spot. That keeps the leg from having good range and it makes it look a little bit weird. But you still get decent range, so that's fine. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee is good. Proportioning is good. I'm happy about that. Ankles do go pretty far back. Pretty soft plastic in those feet, be aware. They go really far forward and you get a decent ankle rocker. Very, very solid articulation, I would argue. Could be better, but still decent. I'm gonna go, actually, other than the neck, there's not a whole lot that it really needs. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 for a female Marvel Legends. Now, please, people, note when I give ratings, I say something out of something for this most of the time, or at least it's understood. But I do usually say for a Marvel Legends. I'm not comparing SH Figuarts and Marvel Legends to the same standard. That would be pointless. Otherwise, the cheaper figures would always be a 2 out of 10 compared to the other more expensive figures. There's no point in doing that. So I rate things within their own category. A 9 in Marvel Legends is good for Marvel Legends, still probably can't hold a candle to like a 5 from SH Figuarts. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully you do. But yeah, for Marvel Legends, this is a standout. It's a really good release. Is it objectively absolutely one of the best figures ever made? No, it's not even close. But for a Hasbro Marvel Legends figure, it is very, very solid. So I'm going to give this one an overall rating of, I have to go 9 out of 10, especially for the females. There aren't very many good female figures from Hasbro, and this is definitely one of them. It's a little plain. There's definitely room for improvement. That's why it's not higher than a 9, but it is, I can't imagine anybody who likes this character is going to get this and be upset. They're going to be perfectly happy with it. So there it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and let me know if you liked the video by giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Either one is fine, and if you haven't subscribed, you might want to consider it. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on my channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.